Everyone thought she was just a clumsy waitress. They had no idea she was about to expose a crime that could destroy everything. The Morningstar Diner in Dallas, Texas, smelled of burnt coffee and bacon grease that never left the walls. The breakfast rush kept forks clinking and orders flying, but the loudest sound came from Frank Dalton, the manager, barking at the waitress limping through the aisles. Her name was Rachel Monroe, mid-20s, with auburn hair pulled into a messy ponytail and eyes that hid exhaustion under a mask of forced smiles. Her right hand carried trays stacked high, while her left arm, wrapped in thick bandages, hung stiff against her side. Every time her bandaged hand brushed something, she flinched, but she kept moving. Rent didn't wait, and neither did bills. Frank leaned against the counter, sneering loud enough for customers to hear. "Pick it up, Rachel. You think this is a charity? People are waiting." Some customers whispered in pity. Others shook their heads. At a booth near the window, two office women muttered, "Poor thing. That hand's broken. She shouldn't even be here." Rachel heard it all, just like she heard Frank's mocking laugh every time she dropped something. What no one knew was that Frank wasn't just cruel, he was hiding something darker. Weeks earlier, Rachel had overheard him through the thin office door, bragging about skimming money from the register. When she accidentally made a noise, he caught her outside and twisted her wrist so hard that something cracked. "One word," he'd hissed, "and you lose more than this job." Now she wore bandages as both a reminder and a warning. From the corner booth, a white-haired man stirred his coffee slowly, his sharp blue eyes never leaving Rachel. To the staff, he was just Walter Jennings, a retired veteran who liked black coffee and pancakes. Nobody knew he was actually the hidden owner of the diner, watching how his employees behaved when they thought no one important was looking. Walter had seen unfair managers before, but what he saw now, Rachel breaking herself to keep the place running while Frank piled write-ups against her, made his blood simmer. That afternoon, while pretending to head to the restroom, Walter slipped into the office. Papers cluttered the desk, page after page of incident reports, all with Rachel's name. Petty things: spilled drink, bad attitude. Walter shook his head. Lies. Then his eyes landed on something worse. Cash register logs that didn't add up. Thousands missing, week after week. His jaw tightened. He knew theft when he saw it. But when he heard Frank brag later to a drinking buddy, another $5,000, easy. And when they notice, that little waitress takes the fall. "I broke her hand to make sure she remembers who's in charge." Walter's decision was made. The next morning, the diner bustled with its usual crowd, unaware of the storm brewing. Rachel moved between tables, her good hand trembling from the strain. Frank laughed loudly near the counter, making himself look like the star of the place. Then Walter rose from his booth. For the first time, his voice cut across the diner. "Morning, folks. I think it's time you all know who I really am." Every head turned. Frank smirked. "What, you writing a book, old man?" Walter's gaze locked on him. "No, I own this diner." The room went silent. A fork clattered onto a plate. Rachel froze, staring at him. Customers leaned in, stunned. Frank's smirk twitched. You're lying." Walter placed a folder on the counter. Reports, financial logs, proof of theft. His voice was steady. "I've been watching long enough. I know about the missing money. I know every false report you filed against Rachel. And I know exactly how she broke her hand." Gasps rippled through the diner. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. For weeks, she thought no one believed her, but now the truth was spilling out for everyone to see. Before Frank could spin another lie, the front door swung open. Two uniformed Dallas police officers stepped in, already briefed by Walter. The cuffs snapped on Frank's wrists before he could protest. His shouts of "It's not true" echoed uselessly as he was dragged outside. Inside, silence turned into applause. Some customers clapped softly, others cheered openly. Rachel stood trembling, her good hand pressed against her lips, a muffled sob escaping. Walter turned to her, his voice softer now. "You kept this place alive while others tried to tear you down. From today forward, you're not just a waitress. You're the new manager." Rachel's tears spilled over. For the first time in months, her shoulders straightened, not as someone pitied, but as someone seen. The diner still smelled of burnt coffee and bacon, but the air felt different. Clean. Just. Walter sipped his coffee, finally smiling. Justice had been served, and Rachel Monroe had her life back. And the lesson lingered for everyone watching. Never underestimate the quiet strength of those who keep showing up, even when the world tries to break them.